The Bermuda Triangle, an imaginary stretch between Miami, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda, and perhaps the most feared patch of ocean on Earth. Ships vanish, planes disappear, entire crews swallowed by nothing. No radio, no wreckage, no trace. It's as if the sea itself opens its mouth and decides to erase names from history. It all began in 1945 when 5 U.S. Navy bombers, Flight 19, vanished during a training mission. Neither they nor the rescue plane that went after them were ever seen again. Since then, theories have poured in. Magnetic anomalies, methane gas bubbles, wormholes, even the lost city of Atlantis. The most likely explanation, though, is far less mystical. Unpredictable weather, magnetic variations, confusing compasses, and human error in a storm-prone region. And yet, the fascination remains. Because when the ocean takes something and silence follows, the human mind fills that silence with the impossible. Flight MH370, the Boeing 737 that disappeared in 2014, turning a routine trip from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing into one of the greatest mysteries in modern aviation. The plane vanished from radar 40 minutes after takeoff. No distress call, no signal. Just silence. A digital trail cut off midair. Satellites later picked up strange route changes, impossible turns over the Indian Ocean, as if someone in the cockpit had turned everything off and decided to fly into nowhere. Years of searching cost billions. Only fragments were found, pieces of wings and fuselage washed up on distant shores. But the plane's body, the flight recorder, the why? Nothing. Theories flooded in. Hijacking, pilot suicide, mechanical failure, military interference? None conclusive. And what truly frightens us is the helplessness of it. In a world covered in satellites and sensors, a massive aircraft can still vanish like a whisper in the sky. Jack the Ripper, the name London learned to fear in the foggy nights of 1888. A killer who seemed to understand both anatomy and terror. His victims were poor women from Whitechapel, found with precise, almost surgical cuts. The brutality shocked the city, but his calmness, his control was terrified it. Letters signed by Jack arrived at police stations, some mocking, others describing details only the killer would know. Real or fake, they fueled hysteria and created the first media-born serial killer. Suspects appeared in droves. Doctors, princes, poets, even artists. None proven guilty. Centuries later, DNA on envelopes reignited hope for an answer. But even modern science could not close the case. The most haunting part? He vanished as mysteriously as he appeared. His true crime was not the blood he spilled, but the silence he left, still echoing through London's narrow streets. The Great Sphinx of Egypt, a creature of stone, part lion, part man, watching the desert for over 4,000 years. And yet no one truly knows who built it, or why. The hieroglyphs that could tell its story are missing. No record of its creation exists. It's as if the Sphinx was already there before Egypt began. Most archaeologists attribute it to Pharaoh Khafre, the builder of the second pyramid. But there's a problem. Weather marks that look like they were caused by rain, not sand. That would make the Sphinx thousands of years older than the pyramids, carved in a wetter age long before known civilization. Others point to its face, restored chin, missing nose, and speak of hidden chambers below its paws, the legendary Hall of Records said to contain the wisdom of Atlantis. Maybe myth, maybe memory, but the Sphinx stands still, silent, as if it knows the answer, and laughs at those who keep asking. The Voynich Manuscript, a book filled with drawings of plants that don't exist, written in a language no one can read. Discovered in 1912 by a rare book dealer, it's 240 pages of cosmic diagrams, bathing women, and an alphabet that follows no known logic. Code breakers, linguists, even the CIA have tried to decode it. No one has succeeded. No one even knows if the text means anything at all, or if it's the greatest hoax ever made. Carbon dating puts it in the 1400s, but that explains nothing. It's as if the author invented not just a language, but a world. Some say it's the work of an alchemist, a mystic, or even a young Leonardo da Vinci. Others think it's a medical manual from another planet. And the strangest part? Even without translation, the text has structure, grammar, repetition. It behaves like a real language, from a people who never existed. The book speaks. No one understands the voice. The Taos Hum, New Mexico. a quiet town surrounded by mountains and silence. Except for those who hear the impossible, a low, constant humming sound, the Taos Hum. For those who hear it, it's like the endless rumble of an invisible engine echoing inside their skulls. Reports began in the 1990s and soon appeared worldwide: England, Canada, Australia. A small but consistent group of people haunted by a sound that microphones can't detect. Scientists measured frequencies, checked vibrations, searched for industrial sources. Nothing. No pattern, no machine, no noise on record. Some say the Earth itself hums, a deep geological echo. Others blame secret communication systems or classified military experiments. And some believe it's not outside at all, that the sound comes from within the human brain, a noise the mind creates to fill absolute silence, a private symphony that never stops playing. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. Russia, 1959. 9 young hikers vanish in the Ural Mountains. Days later, their bodies are found in a scene beyond reason. The tent was slashed open from the inside, belongings untouched. Some of them barefoot, others half-dressed, with internal injuries like a car crash, but no sign of struggle. Tracks in the snow showed they fled into the freezing night, as if escaping something unseen. One had a shattered skull. Another was missing her tongue and eyes. The Soviet report ended with 4 chilling words: an unknown compelling force. Theories multiplied: avalanches, secret weapons tests, radiation, even UFOs. None conclusive. A modern reinvestigation in 2019 suggested a small avalanche. But the photos tell another story. Wide eyes frozen in terror. Maybe the mystery of Dyatlov Pass isn't what killed them, but what they saw that night, in the endless white silence of the mountain. The Phoenix Lights. March 13, 1997. The Arizona sky lit up with a silent formation of lights shaped like a giant V, slowly gliding over Phoenix. Thousands witnessed it. Pilots, police officers, families. No sound, no turbulence, just a calm, impossible glow. Authorities claimed they were military flares from a training exercise, but many reports came hours before that supposed event. Civilian pilots described a solid, massive object blocking out the stars. Some said it stretched across the entire horizon. The governor at the time mocked the sightings, only to admit years later that he saw it too and couldn't explain it. Decades later, the footage remains studied frame by frame. No reflections, no balloons, no drones, just that glowing V over the desert. Perhaps the true mystery of the Phoenix Lights isn't what people saw, but what no one could prove they didn't. The Bloop. In 1997, a deep, powerful sound was recorded in the Pacific Ocean. So loud, it was picked up by sensors over 3,000 miles apart. Scientists nicknamed it the Bloop. It was fast, organic, alive, resembling the call of a creature but far too massive for anything known. Its source? Near Antarctica, in one of the least explored places on Earth. Since then, it's fueled one of the ocean's greatest mysteries, that something enormous still lives in the deep. NOAA later suggested it might be the cracking of giant icebergs, a natural ice quake. But here's the strange part. Similar sounds have been heard since weaker, farther away, like echoes of something ancient stirring in the dark. Maybe the ocean isn't silent. Maybe beneath miles of pressure and blackness, there are still things that breathe and wait to be heard again. Oak Island Mystery. A small patch of land off the coast of Canada, where for over 2 centuries people have been digging for treasure and finding only more questions. It began in 1795 when a young man saw strange lights among the trees and found a circular depression in the ground. As he dug, he uncovered wooden platforms every few feet, as if someone had carefully buried something deep below. Ever since, generations have tried to reach what became known as the Money Pit. Each attempt ends the same way: tunnels flooding, shafts collapsing, traps activating as if by design. Millionaires, engineers, even presidents have funded excavations. None succeeded. And the deeper they dig, the stranger it gets. Some say it hides the Templar treasure. Others claim it holds Shakespeare's manuscripts or biblical relics. But maybe the real secret of Oak Island isn't what's buried beneath it, but why we keep digging. The endless human urge to chase the impossible, even when the Earth itself seems determined to keep it secret. See in the next video, the dodo. A bird that never learned to fly but mastered the art of living in peace. Until humans arrived. Endemic to the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, The dodo lived in isolation for centuries. No predators, no hurry, no fear. About a meter tall, with a curved beak and a clumsy charm that made it look like nature's inside joke.